on Music Row Podcast with your host, Fran. Heard each week on this station. And now, here's Fran.
Well, welcome everyone. Hey, today we have someone, a very busy person. He is a producer, a writer, performer. It is Julian DeFries, who is joining us on Playing on Music Row, and he's joining us from London. Well, thank you so very much, Julian, for taking the time out to speak with us.
Oh, you're welcome. It's good to speak to you.
Yeah, well, you're quite welcome. Well, first of all, it's very interesting. You are part of a band group called Cherokee Rednecks. How'd you come up with that name? That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's when we first wanted a name, we wanted to sort of have something that sounded a bit like, the old 3-syllable, 2-syllable type names, yeah? Buffalo, Springfield, yeah? So we thought 3-syllable, 2-syllable. So we kind of picked out something from thin air, really.
Okay.
So
no one's in Cherokee, yeah? No one's from Mexico.
No one's from Mexico. We're all from North London. There's no Cherokees. There's all from Mexico, but it sounded very kind of Americana-ish. So we said, that sounds cool. We'll go with that.
Yeah, what's that? That's what I said. That's why I answered the question, because it's a very interesting name.
Yeah.
What can you tell us when you first began writing and performing and where you did that?
Yeah, I mean, we played all over North London and places like that. We've done a thing called Camden Rocks recently, which is sort of a rock show. The thing about the Cherokee band is it's a multi-genre band. We're not just country. We cover all kinds of different things. So, we cover things from rocks to jazz, blues. So it can't be pigeonholed into one thing.
Okay. Well, let me just ask, how did the Cherokee Rednecks get formed, and who are actually part of the members of it? I know that you go in and out, but maybe you can give us an idea.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's pretty much just something that is my brainchild. I started off. I've always been a writer and performer, and I wanted a vehicle for the songs. I wanted something that sounded a bit eclectic and a bit different. So it's pretty much me and a bunch of musician friends that get together. So if I have a gig, I pick up the phone and say, "Help! Come and help me play. Come and help me play. I'll make it worth your while." Yeah, they're all really good guys. I've known for years and years, and we can read each other's minds. We're kind of symbiotic. So it's a good lineup.
Well, that's good. Okay, you're connect. That's actually good. You're tight then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you have a new release called Indian Girl, and we're gonna play that video. Could you give us a little bit of a background on that particular song?
Yeah, that's quite an interesting song. It's the way I could describe it to you is it's almost kind of autobiographical. Well, autobiographical for myself. Yeah. Okay. And it's written about a conversational piece that happened a long time ago to do with my parents.
Okay.
Right. And can you still see me there? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, it's about a conversation, and I wanted to write something a bit like a Shel Silverstein song. Like Dr. Hook, Sylvia's mother.
Yes.
It's conversation on the telephone, and Sylvia's mother said this, and I wanted to write something along those lines. And I thought it'd be interesting to take an actual conversation and transcribe it into an actual song. And that's where it came from, really. It's actually based on real people in my life. And it's actually about my parents when they met. And, Michael was my father, and he wanted to marry an Indian girl who was my mother. And it caused a great kind of shock at the time. It's never going to work, and be a clash of culture and this kind of thing. So I thought it would be interesting to turn that into a little kind of cultural piece, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Well, I wanted to show the artwork on the video because it's very interesting. So that's why I put that up. So we're going to now listen to Indian Girl.
Yes.
We'll call it Julian DeFries and Cherokee Rednecks.
That's correct.
It will never work. It would be a clash of culture. She's from the other side of the world. This Indian girl. But you know this generation do whatever they like. It's a total disgrace. Why Michael wants to marry an Indian girl is something I can't understand. When he could have had his pick of the girls from his native land. Michael's known this Indian girl for a very, very, very short time. It would be an unhappy union. I'd give it 6 months at best, and he will change his mind. He'll be right back with his motor and par before 2 drops of the hat. When it's clear that it was just a disaster, and we can all turn around to him and say we always knew that. Yeah, we always knew that. You're never gonna change an Indian girl, and you'll never bend his ways. If Michael goes and marries an Indian girl, he'll regret it for the rest of his days. The rest of his days. She's an Indian girl. Yeah, Michael wants to marry an Indian girl. Michael wants to marry an Indian girl. An Indian girl.
So I was trying to get a signal on there. So I'm not home, I suppose.
And they stayed married to the day they died.
Hello again.
Wow, that's cool. You know, when I first heard that, right away, what
Yeah.
I thought about was Dylan.
Dylan. Right.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a big compliment then.
Oh, that sounds so much like it. Yeah. I said, it's pretty
Oh well.
very cool. Yeah. You don't even
Oh,
think,
love. Sorry, say
you
that
didn't,
again.
you didn't think so?
It's
if
me.
you-
I do everything on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing. That's all me.
Very cool.
Oh, glad you like it. Glad you like it. We'd love to come
Yeah.
to Nashville. We'd love to come
Yeah.
to Nashville and play there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there's a lot of places here to play.
Yeah.
This is a question. I mean, that was kind of, you said was kind of biographical about your
Mm.
parents. How which other ways do you find song ideas?
They just come out of thin air. I mean, you know, like most people that write songs, they say that sometimes you'll struggle for years and years to write something. Other times, something will land in your hand like a ripe apple, and you're lucky. You know, that one pretty much landed in my hand like a ripe apple. It doesn't always happen that way, but it's lovely when it does.
Okay. Well, you mentioned Shel Silverstein was great.
Yes.
What other writers and artists have influenced you?
Oh, it's too long to mention. I mean, I just want to think. I mean, obviously things in England. I mean, I grew up around the corner from the Kinks. You know, they lived at the top of my road, funnily enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always sort of took that for granted. I was, there's these great artists that live near me, and always had that sort of thing around me. And my parents are very musical, so it's you know, it's been an ongoing process, really. I mean, the Beatles, like I mentioned, the Kinks. You know, the Kinks were kind of there, and the Beatles were sort of there in those days. So it's kind of, I'd say, obviously Lennon McCartney. I would say, cool, just to, you know, it's Leonard Bernstein. You know, it's it's a very eclectic mix.
Okay. Well, you have a song titled Orange and Monochronic Blue.
Monochromatic Blue, yes.
Monochromatic
Yeah.
Blue, right. Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
give us a little background on that particular song?
Yeah, I can tell you the whole story. Basically, when I was pretty much a child, I went on holiday to a place in Scotland called Samye Ling. It's like a Tibetan commune.
Yes.
My parents are pretty much like the original hippies, if you like. They're always going off doing things. And there was a girl I met there. I was very young, and she seemed like a free spirit, really kind of free and interesting person. We went to visit. She's pretty much living in a kind of hut on nothing, really. It really kind of struck a chord with me about that era and how people seemed a lot freer. And it was a great era of songwriting as well. There was lots of, like I say, there was the sort of Laurel Canyon era of songwriting, and I wanted to hark back to a kind of sort of glorious time of songwriting and hippiedom and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, we're going to listen to Orange and Monochromatic Blue right now.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
When life was right where you were, nothing else would occur. 70s were a time when dreams came true. 70s were orange and monochromatic blue. Remember the garden party by the strip, well, the journey was more about the trip. Spent many an idle hour just staring at the sky, never daring to ask the question why. When I think about those days, lost in an orange Polaroid haze, $1,000,000 and a day trip to the zoo, in orange and monochromatic blue. Don't think she told me her name. Never wondered where she came. Lived in a commune by the sea, in penniless, uncomplicated glee. She was as wild as the trees, a child doing anything she pleased. Some sort of spiritual quest, neither a worshiper nor guest. Painting pictures in the air that only we knew were there. Hearing voices in the breeze, flutes and apples, birds and bees. When life was right where you were. Nothing else would occur. 70s were a time when dreams came true. 70s were orange and monochromatic blue. 70s were a time when dreams came true. 70s were orange and monochromatic blue.
All right.
Right. All right. That's Orange and Monochromatic Blue by
That's
Cherokee
it. That's
Red
the one.
Max. Yeah, cool. There again was your Dylan harp in that song.
Yeah, do you know what? I'd never thought of that. I'd never thought of the Dylan side of things. Maybe I should, I should mention that more often.
No, no, that just to me, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How is your music and career being promoted? Do you have anyone helping you promote your stuff?
Well, it's kind of pretty much low key. I mean, there's a few people in the UK on country radio and things like that that do sort of social media promotions. I mean, it's not really been. I mean, the country music side of it's not really been pushed that much at all, really. So it's an area that we're kind of going back down and looking again. Like I said, we'd love to come to Nashville and play there at some point.
Yeah, I think we'd be very welcome here. They would like
Yeah.
to see. Where have you performed, and what are your future performance plans?
It's at the moment it's kind of a state of flux. I mean, having that single, Indian Girl changed things quite a bit because it's put the music in a different genre and country music, and it's really that side of it. It's kind of taken a big upturn. I mean, before that, we'd be playing in small pubs and clubs and stuff like that, and so really, I need to broaden my scope for venues and look more at kind of like country festivals, blues, jazz, and go in that direction. So I'm sort of looking at that again now, thinking, right, I can probably do this differently,
Okay, well, that sounds good. Well, how can our listening audience find out more about Cherokee Red Max and Julian DeFries? Maybe hear more of your music and purchase it and stuff.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's on the obvious places, Spotify. There's things on there. As incidentally, Indian Girl hasn't been released yet. I'm still about to do that. If anybody wants anything, I mean, get in touch. I mean, on the website, there's phone numbers, there's emails. If anybody thinks it would be great on vinyl, yeah, we'd love to hear that. Come and get in touch with suggestions, and we're all ears.
Okay. Well, I've asked you a lot of questions. Is there anything that you would want to say, maybe that I haven't asked you? Is there anything you would want to say to the people listening?
I can't think anything. I mean, I just really would love to come to Nashville and play some music there. And I don't really know anybody there, so it'd be great to have this contact, and hopefully we can hook up again. And when we get over there.
Okay, well, great. Well, we want to thank you, Julian, for taking the time to speak with us. I know you're very, very busy, and I really appreciate that. And
it's brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much.
well, thank you for your time.
You're